Family, we will begin right here. Um, and before we get into the review that's going to lead us into this next level of understanding, this next session, um, I want to let everyone know that these classes, this has become a lifestyle. It's not a class so much for me. It has become a lifestyle. And
Yeah.
this, Nasi, for me, is higher frequency life experience, a higher frequency
Right.
life experience. And I alluded to it yesterday, when we talked about being free, being free and at home. And I am free and at home. But that does not mean that I am unproductive. This is the work, family. This is the work. And each of these classes lead me into each of these times that we meet together, each of the time, each of in every day when we are involved in this energetic vortex together. Um, it leads me to higher and higher levels of vibration, higher and higher frequencies, higher and higher levels of consciousness, higher and higher, Nasig, levels of life experience. Life experience.
Right. Right.
So, yesterday after class, I was compelled to do some heart chakra work. Um, Everyone had, including me, during this period from July the 27th, up until the 13th, where the period, these great energetic periods ended, beginning on the 27th with the full blood moon eclipse, and ending on the 13th with the lunar eclipse, and which marked the close of the Lionsgate portal. It marked the close of the Lionsgate portal, and we dealt with that. Everyone had, experiences relative to that heart chakra. Many people uh, testified to having, a dramatic experience, a very powerful experience relative to the heart chakra. And we talked about that, how that adjustment had to be made and how this is critical. So, with the current subject at hand that has to do with male and female, masculine and feminine energies uniting, and that's basically all we're talking about here. Um,
Right.
I was compelled to do some heart chakra work yesterday, so I looked at some videos by some of my favorite uh, online teachers that are very powerful in the information that they provide. I watched a couple of videos, and late last night, prior to going to sleep, I got by myself and turned on the solfeggio frequencies. And as I slept, I had those play throughout the night, at the frequency, starting at the frequency, which corresponded to the heart chakra. And, that played, you know, uh, those frequencies, I heard those and, was under that influence till about 5 or 6 this morning. And
Uh-huh.
one of the things that I want to talk to us about as we consider the subject that we began yesterday and that we're going to continue today, because we're going to focus on um, this word love. Okay, love and happiness, love and happiness, and it is appropriate that we think in terms of that Al Green song, Love and Happiness, when we think about love. All right, in the past and even currently, when we talk about love, um, especially under the low frequency field of dominance and the inversion, they want to tell us that the kind of love that Al Green and that the Isley brothers and Smokey Robinson and the Miracles and the Supremes and the Temptations and Marvin Gaye, et cetera, and so on, the type of love that they were singing about is a lower form of love. Remember, we are in the inversion now. We were under the influence of the inversion. Nothing, I'm going to prove this today, nothing can be further from the truth. I know how we've been conditioned now, see, under this, under this social engineering and under the programming of the the religious and so-called called spiritual institutions and the compulsory educational system. They have made that type of love, especially black love now, especially
Yeah.
black love, vulgar. They've made it vulgar. They've made it taboo. They've made it something nasty and evil. I want you all to get with me now. Nothing can be further from the truth. When we talk about love, and I'm going to break it down here in a minute, it is exactly the type of love that are in love songs, by our people. Love and Happiness, Al Green. It is precisely that type of love. All right? We're going to break it down. I'll make this statement. The highest frequency love is self love, or the love of God, or the love of divinity. I'm going to say it again. The highest frequency love is love of self, is self love, love of God. Let me break this down. A love of your own divinity, love of your own divinity. The heart chakra must be activated, balanced, and cleansed in order for you to love others. And first of all, before you love others, you have to love yourself. This, Nasi, is incorporated. We read this. It's incorporated in that scripture verse. And I can't remember, I think it's Mark 12, where
Yeah,
Yeshua,
that's it.
yeah, Mark 12, where Yeshua is asked, what is the first and the greatest commandment?
Right.
It says, Hear, O Israel, the Lord thy God is echad, one, united. First of all, understand that there is no separation between male and
Right.
female. There is no separation between me and others. So if I don't, and then it says you are to love God with all what? Your heart, soul, and might. If I'm not recognizing myself as God, I shouldn't be on this call.
Right.
If I do not consider myself God Almighty, I should not be on this call.
Right.
I am stuck in a low frequency, hierarchical field of dominance that has God at the top and me somewhere under him.
Right. Right.
So when I say love of self, I'm saying the same thing that Yeshua said. Didn't he say, I and my Father are one?
That's what he said.
So he's repeating it. Echad, one. We're going to break this down. So the heart chakra must be activated for, first of all, me to love myself. And if I don't love myself, how am I going to love God, whom I've never seen, and how I'm going to love someone else that I think is separate from me? So the first job one of activating the heart chakra is for you to love yourself. Let me break that down. The heart chakra empowers us to forgive ourselves. I must forgive myself first. Now, see, I have to forgive myself first for being an imperfect human being. I recognize my humanity, that it is imperfect, and however it manifests itself, that is not the true me. That is not the true me. If I have big feet or pigeon toed or whatever, whatever it is that is imperfect that you can come up with, that you think, you have to forgive yourself. You have to recognize that that is just a copy, that you are just a reflection of something that is infinite, something that is perfect, something that is unified and whole. Are you all with me?
Yes, yes.
So, and then with the heart chakra activated, balanced, and cleansed, then I can look at others as being imperfect. That is a given. So I don't focus on their humanity. I focus, what I love is divinity, God. I love the God in you. Are you all with me?
Yeah.
But I have to recognize this from a holistic perspective, using holistic thought, which is divine, and using holistic perception. Does that make sense, family?
Absolutely.
So I forgive first myself of transgressions, sins, offenses that were committed against me by other imperfect humans. And then I forgive myself of those same transgressions, sins, and offenses that I committed, because I recognize that I'm imperfect, that wasn't really me, that was my imperfect humanity. It was the result, Nasi, of a flawed emanation
That's
of
right.
divinity into the physical realms. Are you all with me?
Yes, sir.
So the highest frequency love is self-love, is self-love. That means love of God, love of my divinity, love of your divinity. You cannot have that, family, from a dualistic standpoint. You will not achieve that. This has been the problem of religion, Nasi.
Absolutely, Eitai.
So because there is still a profound separation and division between you and divinity in a vertically integrated hierarchical under the influence rather of a vertically integrated hierarchical field of low frequency dominance. Does it make sense, family?
Eitai.
Yeah.
Let me just say this right quick. Now, since you bringing this out, now Abba did this class years ago. Probably nobody probably remember, and it was called, you know, he was saying that you can't love nobody else but yourself.
That's correct.
True love is the love of self.
That's
Exactly what you're saying.
right.
And he broke it out and said that Imam Tifa, he said, what I can do, he said, I can't love Iman Tifa. I can only share with Iman Tifa my love of myself.
That's correct.
I mean, perfect. Exactly what you're saying. I remember the class.
All right. It starts there, family. It starts there.
I,
It
I
starts.
remember, I'm speaker.
Go ahead. Go right ahead.
Oh, no. I said I remember that because what's been in my mind the whole time whenever they say that from scripture to love the Lord your God above all, to love your neighbor as yourself. And I'm saying what's left out of that is the self. I said you have to love yourself first.
Right.
And how are you going to love your neighbor as yourself? That means the same thing that you're saying right now.
Correct.
You love your neighbor as yourself because you can't love them more than you love yourself. That's an illness.
Correct. And if you recognize,
But people
actually,
misuse it as love.
right. But see, we often look at that when we see the word God, we don't see self in that. That's the
Right.
Right. That's the
that's the
problem.
division.
Problem.
So
Hmm.
it, when it says love God, love your neighbor as yourself, that is you. All of that is you.
Right.
All of it is
All
you.
that.
Exactly.
There is no separation between myself and God. There is no separation between myself and my neighbor. And more importantly, as it relates to what we are going to delve into today, there is no separation between male and female, masculine and feminine, none whatsoever. And this is going to be the theme that carries through. This is going to be the theme that carries through. And we're going to get into some things, family, that have been hidden from the ages, from the beginning, from the very beginning. And we're going to give you a new light on these things and new understanding. Basically, just to simplify this for us, what we're doing is looking at this word grace. We're looking at it from the Hebraic standpoint, from a biblical perspective, relative to etymology and phonetic relationship. So we're looking at the word grace as an English word. We're looking at it as a Hebrew word, and we're looking at it as a Greek word. All right? That's all we're doing. Our ancestors, and this is brilliant, this is divinely brilliant, they compressed an entire volume of instructions relative to our ascension in one word, and that is the word grace. Grace in Hebrew, grace in Greek, and grace in English, because they knew where we would be at at this particular time. Don't get it twisted. So when we look, we'll look at the Greek first, the New Testament understanding of grace. As we do our quick review, we said that grace in Christian belief is the free and unmerited favor of God, as manifested in the salvation of sinners and the bestowal of blessings. What we want to focus on is this aspect of bestowal of blessings. And if you're taking notes, write that down, the bestowal of blessings, because that's going to be the framework of what it is that we're talking about. Nasik talked about, again, uh, what Abba Ben Ami uh, uh, communicated to us about making the blessings what, Nasik? The
Necessary.
necessary outcome. Correct?
Necessary consequence. Right.
Making the blessings the necessary consequence or the
Right.
necessary outcome. So
Right.
we're going to expose this. We're going to reveal it um, relative to this high frequency elevated understanding, and we're going to do that just by following the word grace from an etymological standpoint and from a phonetic relational standpoint. One of the things we pointed out yesterday is that the word grace is um, in another form, gracias in Spanish, gracias in Spanish, and graci in Italian, meaning
Italian. Yeah.
gratefulness or thanksgiving. All right, this is an energetic, emotional, high level, high frequency, emotional, energetic uh, concept. In Greece, and in the Greek rather, the word translated grace in the New Testament is G5485. We pointed this out yesterday, and it's the word charis, 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 and it is defined especially as the divine influence upon the heart. We talked about the heart chakra and its reflection in the life. The divine influence upon the heart, and we said that that heart family, that heart chakra must be cleansed, it must be balanced, and it must be activated. And once that is attained, then you can reflect grace or blessings in life. In life, all right? The other aspect, family, of grace is the Hebraic aspect, and it's the word Cain. Cain, yes, in Hebrew. And we saw that it was related to the root word, kana, kana, and that was related to Canaan, all right? Canaan, the promised land. So we said that after successfully exiting, raising our vibrational frequency high enough, Nasi, to exit the Lion's Gate portal that we are experiencing right now, being in the earth, but not of the earth. We are still here physically, but not trapped vibrationally under the influence of a low frequency hierarchical field of dominance.
Perfect explanation. Perfect
Right?
explanation.
This
Hmm.
it's very simple, family. Very simple. So this word charis in the Greek is related to the word cherish, is related to the word cherish in English. And we'll get to this. And it's related, family, to a number of words in English as well. It's related to the word cherish. The verb meaning to hold as dear. And how do you hold things? With your hands and with your arms, correct? From a physical standpoint. And more importantly, you hold things with mentally as well. So physically, with the arms and with the hands, mentally, energetically, You hold it mentally. Mentally. It also means cherish means to treat with tenderness and affection. To treat with tenderness and affection. And it says to indulge and encourage the mind or our mental aspect, which we're going to see involves very profoundly our imagination. Our imagination. That is our creative, our most powerful creative tool is our imagination. The word cherish, cherish, is reflected in the scriptures as well. This this understanding of holding someone dear, treating them with tenderness and affection, is reflected in the scriptures, in the Hebrew scriptures, in Deuteronomy 24:5. If you check your notes and check the recording, we went over this yesterday. When a man hath taken a new wife, he shall not go out to war, neither shall he be charged with any business. So, again, within this is hidden meaning. He shall not go out to war talks about duality. It talks about the dynamic opposing interaction between two polarities. All right? The dynamic interaction between two polarities. It means the action or force of dualism. Now see, when you duel
Right.
when you duel someone, that means you're going to war with them, correct?
Right. That's right.
So it says that in order to understand this, or in order to grasp this or comprehend it, you can't be dualistic. Neither shall he be charged with any business. Now we know that business involves what? Competition. That is another level of conflict between two opposing parties, correct?
Yes.
See, this is our ancestors, again, letting us know that we would have to have achieved a certain level of stability energetically before we even comprehend this. This is what we began talking about initially. And each of us, I am certain, has achieved this level of neutrality. You're not at war. You're not dualistic, Nasi, anymore. We're not in
Right.
competition. We're not
Right.
engaging in dualism. That's what that is talking about. That you must be
Right.
free. And taking a wife, family, is talking about the ability to join opposites. And we're going to go into
That's what
more
it is.
detail. The ability and the necessity of joining opposites, joining and uniting opposites. This is where our power is. This is the essence of our power. So,
Isn't that rest?
someone had a question or a comment.
Isn't that energy at rest?
Yeah, it refers to energy at rest. Excellent. Write that down, family. Energy at rest. We're going to get into this a little bit later. Energy at rest. So we must be at rest or neutral energetically, not going out to war, not engaged in business, not under the influence of dualism, not under the influence of dualism at all. But he shall be free at home 1 year, and shall cheer up his wife, which he hath taken. The word cheer, family, is the word samak. Write that down. Samakh.
Mm.
and that means to rejoice or to be glad or to cause to rejoice, to cause joy,
Yeah.
to cause joy. And joy, family, is a higher level frequency. It is above us. It is at 540, 540, right under love at 500,
Mm.
right under love at 500.
Mm.
So when we talk about happiness, we're actually talking about joy, love and happiness, love and joy. All right. So these are higher frequency emotions, higher frequency levels that we're talking about now, and that this verse is talking about. Samak means to brighten up. It means to brighten up. And when you think of this word brighten up, we want to say heat up as well. To brighten up or heat up. Because, Bakuria, molecules at rest, in order to put them into a higher frequency, you have to do what? Cause friction. And friction causes something to heat up.
Right.
And does heat rise or fall?
Rise.
It rises. So this putting it in motion causes it to ascend or rise. This is
Mm.
very important, family. Very important. And the thing is, we all know this. I'm just putting you, this is self-evident to all of us. I'm just I'm just stimulating your memory. You all know this. You all know this. And you all know how to do it at a high level. And I'm going to prove it to you.
We remember.
Also, Ecclesiastes 11:9 says, rejoice, that's that word samak again, O young man in thy youth. Let thy heart cheer thee in the days of thy youth, and walk in the ways of thine heart, and in the sight of thine eyes. But know thou that for all these God will bring thee into judgment. So this word cheer is the word tov, as we saw, and it means to be pleasing, to be joyful. Same basic meaning. Yesterday, oh, the other word, and keep it in mind, is the word caress. 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 And it means to bestow caresses upon, to stroke, to pat affectionately, to hug, to treat with kindness and fondness. From a human standpoint, we know what that means. We know what that means on all levels. All right? So this is not something that we don't know. The one of the root words, and this is going to get us into the heart of what it is that we are talking about. One of the root uh, words that the word cherish is based on is the word ka, meaning to like or to desire. All right? To like or to desire. In order to like someone else, I got to like myself. Because basically, and I'm not talking necessarily romantic, what we like about ourselves and we can see in others, we will likewise like those qualities in others. If we don't like ourselves, guess what? Ain't no way we're gonna like others.
Mm-hmm.
So this word ka means like or desire. It says it forms all or parts of the word caress, cherish, and Kama Sutra. Write that word down, Kama Sutra. All right? it says that it is the hypothetical source of evidence for its existence is provided by Sanskrit. Kama is the name of the Hindu god of love. Kama, love, desire. You know, when you see the representations of our ancient forefathers of these Hindu gods and goddesses of love, they are not at you know a family function walking around shaking hands with family members and breaking up fights and making friends and doing all this type of thing that the inverted idea of love, which the modern society says is a higher form than romantic love. No, our ancient forefathers, they are with a woman or with a man in intimate embrace. Are you all with me?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's the type of love that Al Green and them is talking about. Our prophet.
Love and happiness.
Right. That's the type of love and happiness they're talking about. There's no higher expression from a human standpoint of love for self than to love someone else like yourself, to desire someone like you desire yourself, and to recognize the divinity in that person. The old Persian, kama, means desire. All right? It means desire. To secure happiness here in mortal life, Hinduism describes a holistic method. Now, I seek a holistic method. That got my attention,
I know it did.
which takes into consideration both the material and spiritual needs of human beings. Religion has
Right.
taught us that you only focus on the spiritual
Right.
and that you deny the material and physical impulses, and that makes you
Right.
spiritual. Now, that's not how our forefathers taught it, family.
Absolutely not.
That you can't have one without the other. That how can you be
Right.
spiritually
Right.
satisfied if you're not materially and physically satisfied? It don't make no sense.
Absolutely not.
And
That's
that's
why I was saying when you throw that word to me out here about we are spiritual, that just confuses everything
right,
because
right.
I don't know what that means.
That's correct. Now see, this is self-evident, family. This is self-evident. It recognizes four chief aims in human life. These four things are the four elements. Again, just expressed in another way, family. They are four elements. They are air, fire, water, and earth, just expressed in another way. And we saw this, our ancestors' tendency to do this, when we looked at Proverbs 30, 18, and 19. There are three things which are too wonderful for me. Yea, four which I know not. But you actually, this is your ancestors just playing a game with you, family. They're tricksters. They trick you into knowing. If I tell you that I don't know something, or you don't know something, what are you going? What do we have the tendency to do now? See, prove that we know it.
Yeah.
So when he says there are four which I know not, that should get our attention. The way of the eagle in the air, that's one element, air.
Right.
The way of the serpent upon the rock, that's the other element, earth. and the way of the ship in the midst of the sea. That's the other element, water. Now, here is the
Right.
mystery. Here is the mystery. The way of a man with a maid. Y'all know that's fire.
Yeah.
Fire, baby.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's that fire.
The heat.
That's the
That's
heat.
it.
That's that element, Bakuria, that heats up elements at rest or in density and causes them to
Mm,
rise. Causes them
mm.
to rise. This is the main element of ascension.
You gotta go back and look at uh, uh, what happened in the descent. We
Yes.
bypassed fire,
Yes,
stepped
sir.
into the water. So that was descent. In order to ascend, you have to what? Start with the fire.
Absolutely, Nasi. It's simple, family.
Donna Summer called it hot stuff.
Say again.
Donna Summer called it hot stuff.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It recognizes the four chief aims of human life, called Purusharthas, by pursuing which human beings can experience physical, mental, and spiritual happiness. All four of those things satisfied because all four of them are desirable. If we do not admit it, we're just in denial.
Right.
And we're in profound separation and division, profound dualistic state of mind or state of being. They also call the four chief purposes or intents of existence, because they are also chosen by God, Purusha himself, for his own enjoyment. And if you're not understanding that you are God, you shouldn't even be on this call. Broadly speaking, in a secular sense, they refer to the pursuit of morality. Now, we're not going to use the word morality. We'll use the word righteousness. The pursuit of righteousness, or we can use the word happiness or joy. The pursuit not of morality, but of righteousness. That is prosperity, righteousness, prosperity, enjoyment, and spirituality. All four of those things. Specifically, in a religious sense, they refer to liberation, that's moksha at the top, religious and righteous duty, that is energetic and righteous duty, that is dharma. Artha is wealth, and conjugal or sexual bliss or enjoyment or desire or fulfillment, as in kama. Now remember, this is this word that is related to cherish, the root word. And as a matter of fact, all of these words, caress, cherish, cheer, is the word ka. It's an ancient word. By pursuing liberation, moksha, you can secure the ultimate happiness of being absolutely and eternally free from all obligations. Obligations to what? Obligations to the under the influence of low frequency hierarchical fields of dominance. By pursuing dharma, you enjoy name and fame, social status, and respect in society. By pursuing wealth, you enjoy the comforts of life, status, and society by the satisfaction of fulfilling your obligations to family and society. I'll pause here. They got these things in reverse, family, in reverse order. They should have talked about karma first. They should have talked about the sex aspect first. But they take, do you hear me? This is the most important. This energetic aspect makes manifest wealth, fame, social status, and finally liberation. You start here first. It sounds, family, because of the inversion, Nasi,
Right.
because of the inversion, it sounds counterintuitive. But I'm telling you, this is the starting point. And the information that we're going to give you is going to be evident to you that this is the starting point. How did we all get here in the first place if it wasn't for sex?
Mm-hmm.
And heat.
Come on now.
Mm-hmm.
Finally,
That
by
hot,
pursuing karma, sex, to enjoy conjugal bliss, companionship with your spouse, family life, etc., and so on. The title Heka. Now we're concentrating still on this word ka. The title of Heka is He Who Activates the Ka. He who activates the Ka. And Ka is desire, family. Ka is desire. It's sexual bliss.
Mm-hmm.
He who activates the Ka. Ka means soul in ancient Egypt. In particular, that part of the soul associated with the vital spark. That vital spark, family, is sexual energy from a physical standpoint.
Right.
That desire to unite two opposites. That's all it is. And it's the strongest desire that any of us know
Absolutely.
or ever will know if we are balanced. When Kundalini is awakened in the Sushumna Nadi, the soul begins its spiritual journey upward, family, in its ascension. So this makes sense to me. Kaaba has to do with the spirit in the body, Kundalini, and may be the root of words like Merkaba, the divine light vehicle of ascension in the astral body. I'm trying to show y'all how to drive your vehicle, family.
Right.
You got to stick that key in the ignition and turn it.
Starter.
Simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that. And
You can
Kabbalah.
only do it with positive and negative energy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you create that spark by the interaction of the positive and negative poles on that battery, correct?
Right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it creates what's called internal combustion. This is basically what we're doing on an energetic, in an energetic sense. So it refers to Merkaba, the light vehicle of ascension in the astral body, and Kabbalah, mystical representation of the astral body in Hermetic Judaism. Cindy Dale, in her research on chakrology, I don't even know if that's a word, around the world, also connects the idea of Heka as related to the activation of a chakra, which is what Kundalini does in the Sushumna. Now, where do you activate the chakra at first to raise Kundalini? In the crown chakra first?
Root.
Root
In
chakra.
the root chakra. In the root chakra, which is the area of what? The sexual organs. The sexual organs, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we looked at this research, this recent research as of 2013, and they showed this map of emotions of the body. And it says, love makes us warm all over. We're talking about the energetic nature of this. Love and happiness, family, the highest energetic uh, uh, reading bodily within the body. Do y'all see it?
Okay.
Happiness, the body is lit all up. And again, we said that could be joy. We could substitute the word happiness for the word joy. And love, that is your highest activation, energetically in terms of heat, your highest activation. And we see in both of these, and it was noted that love and happiness energize the arms and the hands as well. The arms and the hands as well.
Mm-hmm.
The only other emotion that energizes the arms and hands in that sense is anger. All right? You don't want to caress nobody. You don't want to lay hands on them
Mm-hmm.
in a healing
Mm-hmm.
in a healing attitude. You want to lay hands on them in a destructive attitude.
Right.
All right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk about this laying on of hands too, family, as we go forward. So this is the symbolism of Ka, the laying on of hands. Follow me now. Follow me. Because now, see, people are going to say, oh, well, brother, you using all this Egyptian knowledge and stuff you Googled on the internet. But I want y'all to follow me and write down the word bull and cow next to the word ka, because you actually phonetically it's related to cow, K-A-U. All right? Ka and cow, meaning bull, and circle that word bull. And then right next to it the word bullock. Bullock. Now see, we're gonna break this all the way down. So it means power, strength, fertility, the power of action in the world to create from consciousness. Isn't that what we want to do, family?
Absolutely. So.
And it says self, soul, spirit, essence, etc., of who we are, aspiring and rising up to higher consciousness. This is exactly what we're doing. Real spirituality, they say, is morality. No, it's righteousness. It's righteousness, not morality. See, these are created human beings writing this, family. We got to
Right.
interpret this. We
Yeah.
got to decode what it is they're saying for them. It's not morality.
Redefine.
It is righteousness. Your spirit, soul, self, and character is defined by what you do with what you know about reality and self-consciousness, your behavior, your actions relating to who you are. Upright arms, the right angle, power, energy to act with the arms and hands. Our moral, that is our righteous spirit essence, nature determines our quality of life, character, behavior, actions, deed, character, charisma. Who we are by our actions and deed determines our quality of life. And what I said and what the ancestors told us, they said yes to our request to pass through the Lion's Gate portal. We left out of the from under the influence of low frequency hierarchical field of dominance, and entered into and are creating a high frequency field of dominance called Canaan land
Mm-hmm.
or the promised land, the land where all promises come true, where all
Mm-hmm.
promises come true. A high frequency life experience. Are you all feeling me?
That's where the
Absolutely.
promises come through.
That's where the promises come through. I'm going to
It's
show
not a
you
destination.
exactly, I'm going to show you all exactly how to create them, exactly how to bring them into being. Heka means the employment of the ka. So you see these raised hands and these intertwined, uh, looks like an intertwined rope or intertwined snakes. All right. Now
Mm-hmm.
remember, family, we're going to walk you right through this. The ancestors were consistent in this imagery, in these
Mm-hmm.
symbols. And we saw the God self icon at the neutral position, establishing a balance point with these
Mm.
two uh, opposing but complementary energies, male and female, with the arms outstended,
Mm-hmm.
representing us achieving fundamental balance energetically in a dualistic system. But we've achieved balance.
Yes.
We are in control of the polarities. They
Mm-hmm.
are not in control of us. We are no longer bouncing from one thing, dancing in between two opinions. We've achieved balance,
Yes.
achieved our balance. That's fundamental. Then we see Heka here, and we'll get to it, having achieved balance, beginning to what? Unite these energies. Unite these energies. And look, the snakes in his hand look like what? A triangle or a chevron pointing downward, and a
Mm-hmm.
triangle or chevron pointing upward. Are you all with me?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. So this is going to be very simple, family. We're not going to spend a lot of time on that. Y'all going to get this because you already know it. It's already self-evident. Above is a hieroglyph for Heka, isolated into its two parts, the He and the Ka. We already know that the Ka is on the right, the He is on the left. All right? And together it means employment or activation or application of the Ka. Application of the Ka. These are instructions for you, family. You already know how to do this. You already know how to do it. Upraised arms for Ka means ascending Kundalini. Ascending Kundalini. That means, Nasik, that you have made the inversion, that you have
Yeah,
turned the other way around.
right.
And the He looks like the intertwined Ida Pingala, which are the solar and lunar nadis crisscrossing
Right.
the Sushumna at the major chakra points. That's how it
Right.
rises. When joined together properly, it looks like this. And that is it in the middle, family. Another, now we're going to switch over into the Hebraic. For those individuals now see that say this is not Hebraic. You talking that Egyptian
Come
stuff
on, show.
that you got from the internet. This is Hebraic. This is Hebraic. Instead of the intertwined representation, do y'all still see the hands raised?
Uh-huh.
The hands are
Mm-hmm.
raised in the form of the blessing, the priestly blessing.
Mm-hmm.
It looked, and Spock on Star Trek, Leonard Nimoy took this
Right. Right.
priestly blessing and used that. But this is
Be
where
prosperous.
our ancient forefathers and the intertwining of the two energies is represented, family, by the downward triangle joined with the upward triangle, male and
Right.
female united and joined together.
Right. Right.
That's sex, y'all. That's sex.
Live long and be prosperous.
Live long
Eitai.
and be prosperous. That is the priestly blessing. Come on now.
Eitai.
Yes.
Those who don't have a computer, let them know what that image you just described as the Star of David.
It is the male and female, the downward triangle
Mm-hmm.
united with the upward triangle. The upward is the male,
Mm-hmm.
or what's called the uh, dagger, and the downward is the chalice. All right. So it's talking about, it's just the Star of David is a representation of a male and female having sex
That's all.
in the physical,
Right.
the
Mm-hmm.
joining or the uniting of that which was separated,
Yes.
masculine and
In the
feminine energies.
Mm-hmm.
Here's
scientific world, they call it interlacing triangle.
That's correct. The interlacing
Mm-hmm.
triangles. Thank you, Nasi. The interlacing.
Is it also referred as the Merkaba?
Yes, it is. Absolutely. And we talked about that. We talked about in its 3 or 4
Come
dimensional
on.
forms, it is
Right.
Merkaba, right? The
Right.
divine light vehicle of ascension in the astral body. The divine light being of ascension, or vehicle rather of ascension. Here's another explanation. The 3 nadis continued to be depicted in various ways. He was depicted in anthropomorphic form as a man in royal dress wearing the regal and curved beard of the gods. A man that had recognized that he was God, that he was divinity,
Mm-hmm.
he and his father are one, and
Mm.
carrying a staff entwined with 2 serpents. Now we know that's the caduceus.
Yes.
We know that it's the symbol of the medical industry today.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Right.
This symbol, originally associated with the healing god Ninanzu of Sumer, the son of goddess Gula, was adopted for Heka and traveled to Greece, where it became associated with their healing god Asclepius.
Mm-hmm.
Today is the caduceus, symbol of the medical profession or healing. We see
That's our science.
we see their signs, but where are our signs?
Right.
Those are our signs.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
They just appropriated them. It's time for us to take them back.
Right.
So in ancient Egypt, there was no word for religion. The closest thing to it was Heka, or magical power. We're talking about how to activate your magical divine power, family. Heka literally means the activation or the employment or the application of the Ka. The Ka being the spiritual double or life force within the human body. That is the real you. That is referring to melanin, which survives after death. Melanin and the power or the energy of melanin, and is also the vital force shared by mankind and the gods. Melanin, carbon in the physical, dark energy, dark matter in the non physical. It is the universal life energy, the creative power. Write that phrase down. Creative power. You all have it. You all have it. Every one of us have creative power. Let me ask you all a question. How many people have produced sons or daughters on this call?
Me?
Yes.
Yep.
Carried them.
That's a statement.
All of them.
Yes.
Yep.
If you and I can unite our energy to produce a living, breathing human being, which is a result, a direct result of that union, why don't we believe that we can come together to bind, to unite, to produce, to manifest anything, everything, and all things according to our divine will, purpose, and intent? I'm going to let that marinate for a while.
That's
Mhm.
not a problem.
It's
I'm
not a
already.
problem, but my answer would be the reason we don't believe it is because we've been programmed
Absolutely,
to be
Nasik.
opposite. Differences, see things differences, see things disunited, and we only can become united in the spirit.
Absolutely.
No.
Absolutely, Nasik.
Actually, what you're speaking about in the car, I think I've mentioned this before, is going through my rites of passage, which I did it with several different shrines. I was pre-programmed for this, if you want to say it's programmed, but I had this understanding ahead of time. When I came into the kingdom, it seemed like they were talking about, like, I still have some of the symbols of that from that time, and it seemed like they were making it like negative. And I have because I studied what they call the hieroglyphics. We call Medu Neter, sacred word that's written, in Egypt, and all those things. So it's like this is like a review. Part of it is like a review.
And again, we all were under the influence, all of us. The reason why that we could not manifest this and activate and apply this ka is because we were, to whatever degree or the other, under the influence of low frequency,
Mhm.
hierarchical
Yes.
field of dominance. There's
Mhm.
no way we could have done it. No way. But now I want us to understand now and realize that we are out from under that influence. So these
Absolutely.
are being put in our hands for us to use them to create anything, everything according to our divine will, intent, and purpose. It is this universal life energy, the creative power, circulating through the spiritual and physical worlds, which makes creation possible. That is how each of us made babies, living, breathing human beings. But the area of sex and that area has been under the influence now of this social, psychological, cultural, religious engineering.
Mhm.
It has been put in the side, a very basic weapon of,
Mhm.
very basic tool of creation has been put to the side, and we've relegated it to something else status. We don't even talk about these things. We don't even
Right.
talk about sex and stuff like that to this
King
level
show.
It's taboo.
in the religious institutions.
Taboo.
Ain't no way we was gonna produce anything because we had relegated our most basic tool, our most basic implement and power to something other status. Now that's over there. We don't talk about that here. Thus, magic preceded the creation of the gods and was believed to be even more powerful than them. In the pyramid text, the magician's power is extolled. The sky quivers, the earth quakes before me, for I am a magician. I possess magic. I possess magic. So let's continue on with understanding this Heka in terms of magic. In An Imitation of Life, page 62, and Nasik and I talked about the importance, family, of familiarizing ourselves with pages 69 through 72 in An Imitation of Life, because it talks about, Ben Ami presciently covered this particular subject between those pages 69 to 72. Relative to consciousness and this dynamic energy, he begins on page 69 and 70, bottom of page 69, top of page 70. Once you become conscious, and family, we're talking about being stabilized between 250 hertz and 350 hertz on David Hawkins' emotional consciousness level scale, vibrational frequency scale. Once you become conscious, you thus continue to develop your consciousness to the highest level possible. Higher consciousness increases your dynamic energy and becomes the source for sustained higher development. On this plane, the individual, Nasi, will become consciously aware of the subliminal influences and the force,
Right.
both internal and external, which in the past has shaped his life, nature, and has impacted even upon the functioning of the universe. That is powerful, dynamic power, indescribable. This world keeps the human family existing in opposition to divine law, which we know is wholeness,
Right.
being controlled and manipulated by emotions instead of truth. So we have to reach this position. Our ancestors told us that we had to stabilize our level of consciousness and take a hold of these opposing but complementary energies
Positive,
that
negative.
that are expressed bodily and in our emotions, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
We have to reach that point of neutrality. Reach that point of neutrality. And neutrality, just as a reminder, bear with me.
Going back down memory lane.
Yeah. Neutrality is that point according to Power versus Force, where energy becomes very positive as we get to the level which we have termed neutral, because it is epitomized by release from the positionality which typifies lower levels. Below 250, consciousness tends to see dichotomies and take on rigid positions, an impediment in a world which is complex and multifactorial rather than black and white. So our ancient ancestors symbolized this balanced neutral position as the God self icon, the hero, standing with the two polarities in the hand, with the hand extended away from the body. Continuing on. So that is what Abba is talking about, is necessary to sustain higher levels of consciousness. But we have to realize that the influences of conditioning and social engineering, that they hinder us. That's why we have to maintain a neutral position, a neutral position. The adversary, by the application of scientific, social perception engineering, creates inverted energy. Now, see, this is the most profound aspect of the fall.
Yes, it is, Eitai.
That the
Yes, it
majority
is.
of people, that the majority of people do not recognize. that our energy was inverted. So it means that our perception of the world was inverted, that our thoughts are inverted. And it put us into
Yes, yes.
a profound attitude of descent. And until we reverse this, we're going to still be in that attitude of dissension, or descent rather. This
Absolutely.
this energy
Absolutely.
or power turned to a contrary direction, changed from what was the normal order. We now return to the two forces, which have two different perceptions of this expending of evident energy power. One perception is that the person is highly motivated and energetic. The other, in contradiction to this, is that the person is inert. Keep in mind that that words, education, can completely transform the chemical or energetic makeup of a soul. They don't.
Educate.
They can't conceive this. Now, see,
Can't conceive it.
can't
Cannot.
conceive it, and they think that they
Edu-
are right side up, but they are still inverted.
Absolutely.
Eitai, they're educated.
Uh-huh. Making it a complete opposite in nature and effect. Again, that's Imitation of Life, page 62. So, in covering those pages from 69 to 72, uh, we see some very profound statements. So, how to activate this magic, this energy, this dynamic energy, family? The definition of magic is the art of influencing events and producing marvels using hidden natural forces. The hidden natural forces that we're going to use, family, are the exact forces that have kept us locked into this false simulated matrix, and that is duality. That is why you
Right.
see that is why you see the hero taking hold of the two polarities, which represent duality, and working magic with them This is precisely what we're going to do. And in a very simple way, as we'll see. Heka was personified as a god of magic, associated with the power of the written and spoken word, as well as medicine and healing. He accompanied the sun god Ra on his bark during its daily journey through the heavens, along with the gods Sia, that is divine perception, and Hu, divine speech. He is depicted as a man holding two serpents across his chest. Heka's female equivalent was the goddess Weret Hakau. Weret Hakau, meaning the great magic or the great empress. Now that's that word cow for the feminine. It's ka for the masculine, cow for the feminine. Write that down.
Right.
Very important. And we're going to get on into the Samika ritual, the ancient priestly blessing, the laying on of hands, the divine magical art of bonding, fusion, uniting of male and female energies. Here we go. We all know how to do this, family. Look closely at the drawing of the Shefatal. We're going to define this Shefatal later. It's very important. Above center. That is this. The two hands raised in blessing. Look very closely. Do you see the four letters written across the wrist on the two hands? I'm going to show you. Right here. Yud He Vav He.
Wow.
Do you recognize these four letters as the tetragrammaton?
Yeah. Tetragrammaton, yeah.
Uh-huh. Yud He and Vav He.
Wow.
Now, remember we said the word caress is to use the hands and arms to show endearment, right?
Uh-oh.
To show affection. When a man have taken a new wife, he shall not go out to war, neither shall he be charged with any business, but he shall be free at home 1 year, and shall use his hands and arms to cheer up his wife, which he hath taken. Simple as that. The word cheer, again in this case, cheer up, is the word samak. Samak. They get the word samika, the samika ritual, from the word samak. It means
Or simcha.
yes, to cause to rejoice, gladden, or make glad. The samika or the samika blessing is located in Exodus 29 and 10. We're getting ready to close, family. And thou shalt cause a bullock to be brought before the tabernacle of the congregation. A bullock is a male cow, is it not?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Or a female cow is a female bullock is a male cow, or a male bullock is a female cow. Is a female cow. I don't know how to say it, but y'all know that it has application.
They're the bovine family, and the bovine family, the male is the bull and the female is the cow.
But they're the same thing. They're the same thing. That's what I was.
They're the bovine family, that's the same species. So you got the male and the female, but they're called bovine. Is like canine is for dogs.
That's correct.
Bovine is for their species. So
Got
the
it.
male of the bovine is the bull, and the female is the cow.
We got it. So that word KAU and Ka comes into play here. The Ka refers to the masculine aspect. The Kau, Kau, refers to the feminine aspect. So you're supposed to take a bullock. Look, the word bullock, family, in Hebrew, the word translated bullock in Hebrew is the word par. The root is the word parar. It means something that is divided or split. That's what we want to get to. That's dualism.
Oh.
That's dualism, isn't it, Nasik?
That's what it is.
Why, Nasik, are you always talking about dualism? Why you always got to say that? Because it's at the heart of everything in the
Yes,
scripture.
it is.
No, he got that from the internet.
He got that from the internet. So the word par, see, we get the word pair from that word
Mhm.
par.
He got that from his inner neck. That's where he got it from. Inner
So,
neck. His inner neck.
and so, family, it refers to the bullock in its physical representation. The first of all, the split hoof. The split hoof.
Mhm.
Okay? So does a male have the split hoof? Absolutely. Does the female have the split hoof? Absolutely.
Yeah.
So again, you got to deal, Nasik, with this dualism every time.
Ain't getting away from it.
You can't get away from it, especially if you want to be blessed,
Mhm.
especially if you want to experience happiness and love
Yes.
on a higher level. You
Mhm.
must contend with this dualism.
Mhm.
And it means the split hoof. It also means broken power. The power of the bull is symbolized, male or female, by the horns, correct?
Mhm.
Right.
Does the male cow have horns? Absolutely. Does the female cow have horns? Absolutely.
Mhm.
No difference,
Mhm.
family. It's no difference. It indicates our power that was broken when we were what? Split up and divided.
Yeah.
So in the priestly blessing, you bring the bullock representing what? Division, broken power.
Mhm.
Is to be brought before the tabernacle of the congregation. And Aaron and his sons, Aharon, why you always dealing with duality, Aharon? Aharon and his son, am I his bane?
Absolutely.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Aharon
Uh-oh.
and his son shall put their hands upon the head of the bullock.
All right, write that down, y'all.
Shall put their hands in this manner, in the manner of blessing, upon the head of the bullock,
Wow.
uniting, family, that which was divided. Let's go through this.
And how come that's in Exodus? This is our Exodus from ignorance.
That's correct. It's our exodus through the Lions Gate portal.
Yes.
Our exodus
Right.
through the Lions
Right.
Gate portal.
Okay. Write that down.
Now, the word shall put, the phrase shall put their hands upon the head of the bullock is the word samak. Samak. In family, it's related to the word samek, which means samak here, which means is related phonetically, not etymologically, but phonetically to the word samak.
Oh,
Our
okay.
ancestors always, constantly use uh, these little play on words constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Use these little play on words to, first of all, conceal higher meaning.
Yes.
Conceal higher meaning.
Yeah.
The word shall
Right.
put is the word samak, which is H5564, and it means to lay or rest. Bakuria, to rest or to lay, to uphold or lean upon. Let's look at this in
Mhm.
terms. Write the word lay down. All right. We've taken this to the highest level possible, uh, family.
Eitai, Slicker, what was the number there? Shell put
H5564.
A5564.
That's correct. Samak. Samak. The root of the word samak means to lean upon, to uphold, to support. The root is also found in the Jewish concept of samika, the laying on of hands upon the head of a sacrificial victim. Follow me, family. The usual
Mm.
sacrificial victim was a ram, goat, or bullock, something that had a split hoof, right, or
Mm-hmm.
horns on its head,
Mm-hmm.
representing power, divine power that was divided. Divine power that was divided in a blood ritual in the Jewish temple, which was also a means of consecrating the priesthood. So, this is an indication that not only should the sacrifice be whole, but the blesser, the priesthood, should be whole. How are you
Mm-hmm.
going to love someone and you don't love yourself?
Right.
So the laying on of hands meant the healing of duality in the priesthood or the blesser first.
Mm-hmm.
How you gonna love somebody or like somebody or desire somebody if you don't love, like, desire yourself?
Yep.
So,
This is
so
in
Eitai,
yes,
so what we are saying then, when you fall under duality,
yes, sir.
there's absolutely no way for you to love self or anybody else.
No way,
You know,
no way,
no.
Mm-hmm.
no way. This is why the problems have been so profound, Nasi,
Yes.
Yeah.
in all aspects of society and culture.
Yes.
Right. Right.
This is Leviticus 8, Exodus 29, etc. Listen, biblical references to the root of Samak occur in Leviticus 16 and 21, Leviticus 16:21, Deuteronomy 34 and 9, and Ezekiel 24 and 2, and elsewhere. We are going to revisit that later as we put a finer point on this. But this is just introductory here. It is very interesting to note also that the Hebrew word shakah, that is H7901, which is translated as lie or lay with in the scriptures. Listen, family, means both to lie with sexually and to lie down in death. That is to submit oneself to death, as in submitting to be a sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about the same thing, Nasi.
Lishkav.
Now, let's connect this up with what we already know. The divine feminine in the hypostasis, the allegory, the hypostasis of the archons, it said that Sophia, the divine feminine, what? Descended into the physical and became the earth, correct?
Okay.
So the symbol of that descent is the descent of the divine feminine is the downward pointing chevron or the downward facing triangle with the point
Mm,
downward. Are you all with me?
mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
This is family. This is high now.
Yes. Come on, shows.
Everything that you've ever known.
Come on, shows.
This is the beginning of our life
Yes.
and high frequency living in the land of Canaan,
Mm-hmm.
in the promised land. The arrow, downward pointing chevron or triangle, represents gravitational acceleration arrested. That's innervated, Nasi.
Yes.
Gravitational acceleration arrested or innervated. And energy created from such. Innervated energy. That's what was created
Mm-hmm.
from the downward descent of the divine feminine into the physical realm. The only
Wow.
energy that like causes produce like effects, Nasi, the only energy that can be created from downward gravitational acceleration or descent is innervated energy. Is innervated energy. That's the energy, low frequency energy under the influence of what? That low frequency hierarchy
Low frequency.
uh, energy field of dominance. Does it make sense?
Mm.
Like causes
Can. Yes.
always produce like effects.
Mm-hmm.
I'm showing y'all science.
Yes.
Eitai.
Yes, sir.
The word innovate, it means to deprive of nerve, force, of strength, weaken, debilitate.
That's correct.
Mm.
So you
Eitai.
see that when you come under that what? That dominant, you understand, lower frequency, you are actually deprived of nerve.
That's
You are
correct.
deprived of strength. You are actually weakened.
That's correct.
Yeah, you're not complete. You're not complete.
You are actually dead. You are
Right, you actually
in
dead.
a
Right.
dead or comatose position.
Comatose.
Yeah.
Let's
Okay, I want to send you something that I heard just what you just said just now, and I heard it just 2 hours ago from KRS-One.
all
And it's
right.
more toward the end, but it talks about that feminine energy actually being the universe and the earth being the masculine.
Uh, we can look at it either way. Whatever floats your boat. You can look at it either way. Whatever floats your boat. Because remember, it's either Ka or cow. It don't make no
Yep.
difference. They both have
Right.
horns. They both have
Mm-hmm.
the split hoof. It don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. However you want to look at it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It don't matter.
Okay.
Gravity is akin to the power of the descent or fall. Listen, gravity is akin to the power of the descent or fall and exerts that power in straight lines,
Yes.
vertically integrated attitude or motion, in a vertically integrated attitude or motion. Follow me, family. Motion,
Vertical.
Bakuria, the effect or result of polarity, dualism, and separation follows that downward force in a straight line. An object is prone or tends to follow a straight line unless affected by another object.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Dynamic
Mm.
interaction. Ain't no way if you think that you are separate from your complementary, ain't no way you're gonna work together for ascension. No way.
Right.
No way.
Yes.
Object, y'all gonna still be prone or have the tendency to follow that straight line downward what? Trajectory,
Mm-hmm.
unless affected by another object. Dynamic interaction with another object has the potential to change the downward attitude, motion, trajectory, tendency, etc. of that object under the influence of gravitational force. Are you all with me now?
Can show.
Mhm.
Here we go.
Mhm.
Matter is space knitted. That's the word that they used here. But I'm translating this for you, family. They say matter is space knitted. Matter is space knitted. That is space set into motion and slowed down. Isn't that what happened?
Mm-hmm.
Matter, when we first emanated in, we were more high frequency.
Yes.
As we fell, we became what? The frequency
That.
decreased more and more, and we became matter, which is space set in motion and slowed down. Innervated, innervated, deprived of its vital strength and nerve and power. Space is set into motion and creates a current that is closed upon itself due to the pressure of surrounding space. It creates boundaries and density differentials. It created the Lion's Gate.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
creates boundaries and density differentials. And the spin creates vortexes.
Right.
The attitude of the vortex of the low frequency hierarchical field of dominance was downward, correct?
Can.
Right.
In
Right.
the direction of the initial aspect of what? Emanation, which is electromagnetic flow. Space pushes these toward each other. Matter is bubbles within space. Gravity is squeezing those bubbles together. Our universe is a dynamic, fluid like substance set in motion. And then congealing. So we look at the feminine sign pointing downward, indicating Ion Sophia, Peace to Sophia, the divine feminine aspect, Nasi plunging into the waters below
Yeah.
and creating this downward currency and frequency, which physically we recognize as gravity.
It's a chevron you were talking about.
And it created this separation between, it created these polarities, the separation between masculine and feminine. And this is how we've operated in separation, in duality.
Yes.
That's how we
Yes.
operating. That's right.
In every way. Even family, I mean, we can, from a physical standpoint, of course, we can, almost accidentally get together with the opposite, from a physical, male and females getting together, but and produce something. But what is the quality of it?
Right.
It is
Can
still
show.
energetic.
Right.
The energetic
Mm-hmm.
From a, so,
of it.
from a social standpoint.
That's correct. from a cultural standpoint, economic standpoint, whatever you want, it is in a downward motion, a downward attitude, a downward trajectory.
Mm.
Hey, Bokoria.
Mm-hmm.
Bokoria. That's the testimony of what we see in the kingdom. Exactly what he just explained.
Yes.
It's
Exactly what's in the
dualistic.
kingdom.
It's
Trying to
dualistic.
figure
Now,
out
see,
why our children,
dualistic.
right? Why our children don't want to what? Follow this order.
That's correct.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna
Mhm.
reach them. You're not gonna reach them. You're not gonna do anything, Nasi, just focusing on creating a better social structure, a better
Right.
cultural structure, a better
Mhm.
economic structure. What you're ignoring, what you fail to realize, what you're not addressing is the energetic aspect of all of this. This is what
Yes.
we're laying out
Mm.
right now.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, there it is.
So again,
Mm.
term
It is.
following this word ka now, Kama Sutra. See, you don't this ain't no social program here that you're seeing.
Right.
This ain't
Come on,
no
Show.
this ain't no economic program. This ain't
Mm-hmm.
no cultural program. It is very basic and very elemental. When it talks
Right.
about Nasi converting this inverted energy to cause you to rise, to power, brothers and family, brothers and sisters, this ascension vehicle,
Yes.
Right,
The Merkaba.
right.
the Merkabah, in order for us to rise out of this thing like we descended into it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's very basic. It's very basic, but a religious minded individual, they're not going to even know what to do with this.
No,
They're not going
absolutely not,
to
Shows.
understand it. Scientific social perception engineering is going to prevent them from even recognizing this as their own science, as their
Right.
own
Right.
solution to all of the problems of duality. Now, see, well, we got to we got to address this duality.
Mm-hmm.
We got to
Gotta,
Have to.
address this division, address this brokenness, this separation.
I think
Karma,
that's what's up.
that's right. Karma, which is one of the four goals of Hindu life, is just simply not seek one of the four elements. It is Yud He Vav He.
Yeah.
right.
It is both the four masculine elements and the four feminine elements.
Yeah.
It means
Yeah.
desire, including sexual desire, especially sexual desire. The latter being the subject of the textbook. And sutra literally means a thread or a line that holds, binds, unites, fuses things together. It is the tie that binds, family.
Mm. It binds us.
Basic level,
Mm-hmm.
the tie that binds us together
Say that in the Matrix.
is what? Our desire and love for one another. Not
Gang.
not for anything in our humanity, but in recognizing the divinity in ourselves first and then in others.
Right.
That is
Yes.
the tie
Right.
that binds us together. That is the glue.
Mm-hmm.
That is the coagulum of
In
That's
that
it.
all
order.
of the ancient traditions. George Clinton
In
said
that order.
simply, why must I be like that? Why must I chase the cat? Nothing but the dog in me.
Nothing but the dog in me.
Reverse dog. reverse dog, and what do you have? It's nothing but the God in me.
God. That's
And it's
right.
always chasing his tail.
Namaste.
Reality,
Namaste.
right?
The divine in me recognizes the divine in
Divine
you.
in you, absolutely,
Or shows Ubuntu. I am because
absolutely.
we are.
Ubuntu.
That's right. Ubuntu. All us Ubuntu. Ah,
So
Ubuntu. Did I say that?
let's very quickly, as we close, family, look at the Tetragrammaton, the four symbols of Yahweh. It ain't doing nothing but talking about sex on the highest level.
Yes.
Which
Yes,
is
sir.
creation.
The Yud, now look, the Yud is actually the penis at rest,
Right.
non-energized, non-energized. The Vav represents its extended or erected when it encounters what? The feminine principle,
Hmm.
The hey.
which is activated. So the Yud, male, uh, meaning the hand, and again, it's a euphemism. The hand is a euphemism. The hand and arm at the right angle. At the right angle. Are you all with me? The ka,
Hmm.
the ka at the right angle. Erected.
Hmm.
Phallus.
Come on now. Come on. This is simple, family. Ancient wisdom. The hand
Our
is a
science.
symbol. The hand is a symbol of God power and activity, seed, semen, penis. It is the divine potential at rest. But when it comes into dynamic interaction with the feminine aspect, which is hay, represented by an opening, the yoni, the
Yes.
vagina, the aperture, the portal,
Aperture. Mm.
the
Hmm.
window.
Mm.
Come on.
Hmm.
Lionsgate.
That's it. Any portal. It
All
becomes
right.
extended and activated itself. This is simple science. This is the most basic science of creation
Yes.
that we can ever encounter. It is a representation of the non physical in the physical, and we've thrown it
Hmm.
in the closet.
Hmm.
We said
That's
it's
taboo.
taboo,
All right. Can't talk about that.
and we do not have one example, or we can't manufacture and
I don't have a
reproduce
clue.
examples of even successful relationships.
Right.
I don't have a clue.
The Vav means that which joins. It's the nail, the penis, the peg, which holds the door, the curtain before the ark of the law. Look, that represents the ability to unite, the tie that binds the two things together. And again,
The
hey,
thread.
the
The thread that
window
binds.
or the opening, once these two things get together in dynamic union, they always produce something.
Yep.
Mm.
Always. Always. Whether they produce a physical child, they're going to produce something energetic. So this is
Hmm.
not limited to age. It really doesn't involve sex as we know it, as
Right.
we've been conditioned to think about.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
This is high.
Mm.
And our ancient ancestors, they understood this. On the left and to the right is their interpretation of Yud He Vav He, symbolically. And that is Kali, all right? That is represented there. We'll break that down a little bit later. So the union of Yud He Vav He is the union of the four letters. It is the divine word, the divine name, the divine act, family, the divine act, the joining of the right hand and the left hand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Eitai.
Yes.
And you said not sexually, and I saw when you said the thread that binds, that could be creative, even creating a song or writing a book, anything that's
Absolutely. It manifests in any creative act,
Yes.
any creative act. But we must understand we have these vessels and vehicles for a reason. We have this equipment, each of us, male and female, for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
But we want to keep it covered up, hidden, concealed, and shut up in a closet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's our most powerful source of dynamic energy that we
Yes.
that we will come in. We think it's something else. It is our divinity on every level, family, on
Mm-hmm.
every level. The Shefatal, that is the center representation. Shefa is translated as abundance.
yes.
But the words
Oh, that word.
also means, listen, it also means to emanate or to flow. Come on, y'all.
Uh-huh.
Mm,
Come on.
mm.
Come on now. Come on now.
That put a
Tall.
whole nother twist on it.
Tall means dew. It means rain, dew, moisture.
Moisture. Yes.
Listen, family. Listen. We know this. The abundant dew or moisture flows in and from both the male and female body in the unified act of coitus, physical procreation. I'm going to say it again.
Mm-hmm.
The abundant dew, the shefatal, the abundant dew or moisture flows in and from both the male and female body in the unified act of coitus and physical procreation. Just keep that in mind. Keep that in
Mm-hmm.
mind because this does not go beyond physical union. It don't go no higher than that, Nasi.
I hear you, Eitai.
If we can produce a living, breathing representation of each of us, even by accidentally coming together physically,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Come on, shows.
Whoops.
what do you think once we have this higher knowledge of creation, what can't we produce, family?
Gang shows.
That's absolutely right.
What can't we produce?
Okay. Anything we want to.
Our our forefathers understood this as sacred sex, as sacred sex. We think that there's no such thing as that under this scientific, social, perceptual engineering. We think that it's something nasty. We think that
Right.
it's something vulgar,
I
low
have a question.
frequency, low frequency thought, low frequency
Mm-hmm.
thought, and evidence, profound evidence of the effect of inversion, profound evidence of the effect of inversion. We're going to introduce ourselves as we close, family, to another word that is related to this word grace, which is um, charis in uh, Greek in the New Testament, and caress and cherish. And it is it is an Italian word, I believe. It is an Italian word. It is called carezza. And it's going to, although this is not the end all and be all, it's a beginning for each of us. What is carezza? Carezza is not regular sex. It's sex without the orgasm. This is how they defined it. This is how they define it. All right.
Mm-hmm.
But, again, we're going to find these are not set rules. All right. These are
Mm-hmm.
not set rules. All right. I want us to understand that. But the basics are here. The basics are here. This is a beginning. Although Carezza calls for intercourse, that is joining the actual joining together of the male and female sexual organs, it wouldn't look anything like the intercourse Masters and Johnson observed in the land, with its restricted breathing and extreme muscle tension. Stockham contrasted the ordinary, hasty, spasmodic method of cohabitation with carezza. During a lengthy period of perfect control, the whole being of each is merged into the other. Are you all hearing that?
Mm-hmm.
The whole energetic being
Mm-hmm.
of each is merged into the other, and an exquisite exaltation experience. This may be accompanied by a quiet motion entirely under subordination of the will, entirely under the subordination of will and intent.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know that that is divine creation right there.
Yes.
Dynamic interaction. This is what we've lost, family. We've lost this,
Mm-hmm.
so that the thrill of passion for either may not go beyond a pleasurable exchange. Our emphasis is on affection, and we stay well away from the edge of orgasm. Now again, this is what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
If we sense ourselves slipping into performance mode, which again, you don't want to slip into performance mode during this, while making love, we pull ourselves back into relaxation with deeper, longer breaths. This relaxes our abdominal breathing and reverses the increase in muscular tension. This is relaxing.
Yes. Yes.
And the urge to restrict breathing that coincide with the buildup of orgasm. Carezza, and understand this is a version of our ancient teaching.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just introducing it as it is, but I'll come back and decode it later. Carezza, with its emphasis on generous, non-goal oriented affection, but we are going to have a goal in doing this, seems to rely heavily on activating the body's relaxation response. In contrast to ejaculatory sex, is a function of the fight or flight sympathetic nervous system. We got to make this
Mm.
a changeover, a transition, family. Just
Mm-hmm.
I seek as we transition from the solar system to the cosmic system, from a bodily standpoint, we have to transition from the sympathetic nervous system to the parasympathetic nervous system. Are you all with me?
Absolutely shows.
Regular sex is an athletic exercise. It's a
Mm-hmm.
competition.
Mm-hmm.
In some cases, family, it's a war. It's a duel.
Yes.
Absolutely.
What did we read? What did we read? What did our ancestors tell us? That when a man taketh a new wife, this is a wife in
Mm-hmm.
the Canaan land.
Mm-hmm. Come on, shows.
This is the divine feminine.
Yes.
Under what? The influence of a high frequency field of dominance.
Yes.
They shall not go to war. It ain't no athletic competition no more.
Right. Yes.
I was
Dang.
gonna say a lot of time is competition.
Neither shall they be charged with business.
It's holistic.
Come on now. It's holistic. We got to make this transition, family.
Yes.
Got it. Got it.
Your heart rate increases. This is under the athletic exercise. The heart
Mm-hmm.
rate increases. But family, if it's my heart chakra, if it's activated, if it's balanced, I'm not going to be trying to go to war.
Thank you.
I'm not going to be trying to compete.
Right.
I'm going to be trying to love you like
Yes.
I love whom? Myself.
Self.
Myself.
Absolutely.
Myself.
Yes.
I'm not in competition with myself. I don't want to fight myself. You perspire. It's like any other goal oriented activity. It's not going to be goal oriented so much, it's going to be intent oriented, intent, purpose oriented, particularly when your survival is at stake. That's what it feels like. It feels like, yeah, it feels
Fight
like
or flight.
survive. Right. Indeed, biologically driven sex is exactly that. You are in performance mode. You are in performance mode, in competition mode,
Mm-hmm.
in an attitude of war,
Yes.
doing what needs to be done to survive through the passing of your genes. We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Right.
And if we are young enough, or we're involved with someone young enough to do that, family, or we are in a position where we can still produce children at a young age, we're going to produce exactly the type of children that we want to.
Absolutely
Exactly
shows.
the type of individual
Mm-hmm.
that they are.
Absolutely.
The body reads bonding behaviors. This is holism. This is holistic.
Yes.
Like Careza, as signals for feeling safe, content, and getting closer. In contrast, it may not read performance oriented lovemaking as a bonding signal, but rather
Mm-hmm.
as something more akin to fight or flight activity.
Mm-hmm.
This powerful drive produces orgasms, but not necessarily profound feelings of safety and a desire to remain close. Do you understand that no matter how good the sex is, people are still getting divorces? That
Mm-hmm.
Got the ego.
that don't
Dang.
people. That don't hold people.
Yes,
That don't bind people together.
I surely don't.
It doesn't bind people together. We have to, the point of all of this, family, is that we have to look at the energetic nature of all things. And our most basic implement of reproducing in our own image whatever, anything that we desire, is that sexual power, that sexual energy that we have. And we can form this. If you can use it to create a child,
Mm-hmm.
you can create
Mm-hmm.
anything
Mm-hmm.
by the proper activation and application of this. Do we
Yes.
see it?
Wow.
Do we see it, family?
Gang, crystal clear, shows.
All right.
Press pause and think about that.
All right. Well, we have laid this thing out in its entirety. We're going to come back to this. We're going to come back to this. And you're going to find out that you all already know how to do this. You already know how to do this. And I'm going to show you how to create in the promised land, in the land of Canaan. In the promised land. How we look, this high frequency level of life experience, we're right there.
No question.
So with that, I'm going to say wholeness, ask if there are any questions or comments.